How about now? Can you hear me now? All right, excellent. So all that was to say was that we got two Dans playing each other in a GEMP matchup. Uh, Dan Tartag against Dan Amore. So we're going to go with Tartag and Heisenberg for this game. Uh, Heisenberg dropping a big beat squad, just almost cleared Bestman. Dan had to peel 8 cards just so he could keep one pilot to maintain, a battle order, battle plan presence, and actually cause some damage here. He opted to keep Maz, and that's what I was debating when you guys couldn't hear me. He peeled 8, he lost Dash uh, and Harksef, and he kept Maz aboard. Maz subtracts 1 from the total, does help you facilitate getting some other aliens out of your deck. You can make an argument, if you're going to peel 8 and keep Maz, you could peel 9 and keep Dash. If Dash moves over, you cancel the lateral damage. You get your ability back. Plus, either way, you're still immune to less than 4 from the objective. So, you know, I don't know. 60-40, I guess, Dash versus Maz. I don't know. He didn't really peel too many aliens, and if he has a way of getting, get some retrieval or something like that, if he had lost him in another order or had the ability to retrieve Dash or something, Maz could certainly help funnel it back out. But I'm sure he's got a lot of other aliens in his deck as well that he'd like to see. So I can understand keeping Maz in that situation. Yeah, we're back. We're doing some game reviews. It's been a little while since I've done a stream, so we're going to see how this goes. We'll also talk about a few other things going on in the old PC world. Uh, that's Players Committee. I spoiled set 13 not too long ago, and those cards, we had a World Championship. We had a lot of new cards being played at that World Championship. Maybe we'll see some set 14 cards soon. Some good stuff there. We got an Anakin. We got a Yakshjit. Now Maz is going to reveal those 3 cards. I'm guessing none of them were aliens because it doesn't say he took one into hand. So I guess Dan whiffed. Dan took some early board beatdown, but he's certainly still in this game here. Obviously, it's going to hinge on his ability to cancel the lateral damage, which we know Heisenberg has 2 of because he drew 1 for Battle Destiny in that battle. Help for Shadow Collective. Shadow Collective is not a bad deck. It's got a lot of blaster ping on it. Kind of reminds me of like the old map deck that just used to spread out and do lots of blaster pings and stuff. It's got some good tricks to it, although it does have a slightly limited card pool. But I think Shadow Collective is right where every new objective should be. It comes in, it's pretty good. There's ways to make it work. There's some interesting things going on with it. And then you look at what little tweaks do we need to make it better, or where do we go from here, as opposed to say Hunt Down V, which just came in and was like top of the power curve. Here you go. Why are you not playing this? Oh no, and a Gravity Shadow. So he shuffled his deck. There's the Gravity Shadow. He drew a 3. That's not going to do it. Either he got the Gravity Shadow, or he's playing 2 of those because he also drew 1 of those for Battle Destiny. But Dan draws and misses. You got to draw greater than 2. He's going to use, if you just drew an alien for Destiny, take it into hand to cancel and redraw it. He does that and then draws the Sight as his alternate Destiny. He does not cancel lateral damage, and now the Stalker will follow. And this is not looking good for Daniel. It's 12 power to 0 power. You've got the threat of an Imperial command. Dan's drawn. I don't know why Dan's drawn. You can go get any card you want out of your force pile next turn. Save those force. Make them think you've got something that you're going to react with, like, uh, a spiral for 2, or a hyper escape or something to move away, or a Hujix to add a out of nowhere combo to add a battle destiny. Yeah, that's huge missing there. Dan's going to get drained for 2. Heisenberg's just going to lean on him here. He chopped his leg out pretty good. Now he's just going to try and lean on him. Dan does still have quite a bit of life force left. Now we've got a Thrawn. It is going to get harder for him if he cannot maintain any type of space presence. And he's got Quiggold as well. This dude just adds to the force drain, right? If your rep is a pirate or you did not play an objective, just force drain +1 here. Obviously, Dan's got 3 battlegrounds. He could pull resistance or ultimatum and cap that at 2. But he's got 12 in forfeit. He's added 1 to the battle destiny, so he's got 13 total. Maz is making his opponent's total draw or each draw -1. Total -1. So that's covering 14 essentially. So it's 2 draws to 1 draw, and Dan's basically losing everything and down 3. That's a good start for Dan. For Tartag. Alright, so that's a 5. 22-0. And a 5 back. So he's down 16, and the pilots cover 12. Twitch incentive for 2021. Quiggold. Oh, okay. So Heisenberg throws Mahdi away. And then plays the imbalance combo from hand to then retrieve Mahdi back into hand. He'll put the imbalance back in his deck, upping his differential by 1. He loses. He top decked a card, so there's no real differential swing there if he was trying to do that in case, Dan overflows everything. Dan is going to lose everything and play the Hujix to cancel the remaining battle damage. I like that play better than using it to add the battle destiny in that situation with that much stacked against him. 17-0. You don't know how you're going to draw versus how he's going to draw. Dan hasn't top decked anything yet, so we don't know what the second card would be. If we had like a rabbit hole cam, that'd be great. We could find out what this top destiny would have been to see if it was really just needed to be a 3 or better, because Anakin would add 1 to it, and that would cover the extra 4 damage. But that's only because your opponent drew low. No, Dan, I will not get out of the channel. I'm streaming this game so everybody can see it. He's going to love this. Thank you guys for tuning in on this lovely Monday afternoon, also known as Dr. Martin Luther King Day in America. I don't know where else you guys might be around the world. Stalker will move back, lock down that Bespin system. So, he's going to ship Doc and split some people up. Probably take maybe Queegold, put him on the Vengeance, move the Vengeance to like Mustafar or something. And then he's got drains of 2, 2, and 2 at each system. He's going to move Ozzel over. Okay. Yeah, Queegold's only forfeit 3. That's probably not a good idea because you draw a 4 and then he's losing the pilot and the ship. Ozzel's at least forfeit 4. No forfeit bonus though. No, he played security precautions to start, so no arrest order or something to boost forfeit of any potential lower ability pilots. Heisenberg's certainly been a player who's improved a lot in 2020, so curious to see just how far he can go in 2021. Could make a run deep into the GEM PC. Could be a good way to start the year. Of course, we want to talk about the upcoming online championship series, which will start February 1st again this year. This is year number 4. 18, 19, 20, yeah, 21. Yeah, this will be the start of our 4th year running the online championship series, or the OCS, as it's often referred to. He does move. Okay. Still plenty of time to sign up. You can get it's slight changes this season, which we'll talk about later, of course, but still time to get your season pass. Same $50. Yeah, QMC is not known for playing a lot of space. Usually they have 2 or 3 ships, and they play like alternatives to fighting, those kinds of things to avoid a space battle or 2. Just kind of, solidify the game a little bit. In this type of deck, you'd have to imagine Heisenberg probably running at least 6 Star Destroyers. Dan's going to take a card out of his used pile. He'll take the best card out of 13 cards. Then he's going to use Mirax and put the worst card in his hand back. Try to get something out of his reserve deck. Right now, alright, so there's Leia's transport going to Mustafar, the only system available. And he's going to dig out Rey. Rey will then get him a card from used pile. This is pretty this is pretty silly synergy right here. It's like spend 3 fours, put down a ship, get an amazing character out of your reserve deck, play that amazing character for free, get a card out of your used pile, and then possibly the bottom card of your force pile, all for doing so. A little too strong in my opinion too, but design has really just opened the floodgates of just letting all the power creep out. We've got Ancient Watering Hole and Elor's Madak. And now he's spreading out to all his sites, so we'll have to assume that Tartag must have a path in hand. And he's this type of more space-heavy deck. It's pretty limited in terms of what Heisenberg will be able to do with the ground presence. Probably like an EPP or 2, whether it's a Maul or a P-59. Probably Maul, maybe like a Kylo or Vader or something as well. But it'll be a limited ground package, just enough to keep your opponent honest, maybe stack up a site for a turn, kind of thing, just to satisfy battle plan for a little bit. Oh, Daniel doesn't pull Ultimatum. And just let himself get drained for 3 at Bespin. Maybe he wanted to get drained for 3. Nope. He's just going to top deck 3 cards. So Ancient Wuthering Hole is a card that was broken for a little while. Maz and Rep are immune to attrition, while you have alien characters of 5 different species on table. Drains are +1, total battle destiny is +2, and aliens are forfeit +1. Dan forgot about Quigold adding, according to the chat. Okay, so does he have 5 different aliens on table? No, yes, he does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are they different species? Curasav, Hnemeth, Corellian, Yakshit is an Ugnaught, and Elors is Duros. Alright, so he's got all 5 out. So his aliens are all forfeit +1. And his Force Drains are +1. So he's certainly in a position to definitely do some damage. Whether or not, to answer your question, Jared, whether or not he's going to make a comeback, it's a little too soon to tell about the comeback, but if he can keep Ancient Wuthering Hole online for 1 or 2 turns and not have to pay for drains, he can certainly cut into the diff and at least make Game 2 competitive. Because getting blown out by like 30 in Game 1 kind of doesn't do a whole lot for you in the matchup. Heisenberg went for Vader with the castle, so could be a Vader Enforcer or Choke Vader. With his high destiny, a Choke Vader could certainly be an option. Most likely it's not. It's probably the Enforcer. He seems to be the splashable Vader of choice. But hey, you never know. And Dan will get a verify. So Heisenberg's got 19 plus 15 down, so he's got 34 face down to Tartag's 18. So we've got about a 2-to-1 card advantage right now. Actually, exactly a 2-to-1 card advantage because he also has 2 extra cards in hand. But, Dan is certainly threatening. Yeah, there goes the Stalker moving in front of Mustafar. So Dan certainly here is going to be draining for 9, 2, 4, 6, and this will be a drain of 3. And because it is the Stalker, that is going to be a little bit problematic because it can follow. Stalker's got Thrawn, Quigold, and Mahdi aboard. And he's going to play the control set for stun on Yakshit. And he draws Tarkin to try and bounce him back to hand. No rescue in the clouds from Dan, so Yakshit will get bounced. So that takes that drain. That total of 9 just went down to 3 because he doesn't have 5 aliens now for Ancient Wuthering Hole, and he's not getting the drain at the 2-0. So another thing going in Heisenberg's favor with that play right there. Menace Phase went off the top in an early battle. He took 8 overflow in the first battle when he got lateral damaged, and Menace Fades went bye-bye. Oh, Dan's going to try and unactivate and get a revert, which Heisenberg will kindly allow. He's going to pay 3, and he's going to go dig out Cloud City Celebration with Walkling. Now he'll activate his remaining force and then go dig out the best card. Now he will still get, drains of 3 in. He can put Yakshit right back down and get, Ancient Wuthering Hole back online. He's not paying to drain, so this is 3 free damage for him, which is good. But he is going to need some help in space. Solo would probably be the best card he could find right now. Add a Destiny with Rey, give him additional power, additional forfeit if a second lateral damage comes back. There goes Gravity Shadow number 2, and they must never again leave the city off the top. And a Death Squadron assignment as well. There's Yakshik coming right back down. But yeah, he's going to need some type of help. Somebody else on this transport, just for power, just for forfeit, because the Stalker's going to follow. He can put the Celebration out. Okay, so he's got Yoda as a passenger. Yoda limiting both sides to 1 destiny, neither of which can be modified, and soaking up 7 forfeit. And there's Solo. 2 pilots, 5 passengers. I think they all add 3, so it doesn't really matter. Yep. There's Gravity Shadow number 3. And he draws a 3, which is not going to get it done. There's a lot of 4s in that deck. Man, having Rey as a pilot. So the transport does get to move. Now we'll see if the Stalker wants to follow or not. It will follow. $15-9, both sides drawing 1 destiny. See, if Dan had gotten the Celebration out, I'd feel a lot better about this play, but he didn't play the Celebration. Because if he could have just anchored down for 1 turn, he's down 6 in this upcoming battle, plus whatever else Heisenberg has in that 3-card hand. He can pitch Elors, he can pitch Yoda, something, to cover it. They both draw 1 destiny. Does this thing even have any immunity? I don't think so, right? Nope, no immunity. Alright, so Piet comes down, give him a little bit extra power and forfeit. So it's 18-9, both sides drawing 1 here. He draws a Tarkin, which cannot be modified because of Yoda, so it's only a 1. And there's a path, which will actually become a 6 because Rey adds to the total, not to the draw. Oh, no, 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 no. And Dan just wastes his once per game solo to modify something which his own card stops him from doing. Now he's just frustrated. But his total is 7 because Ancient Watering Hole also adds 1, right? Total Battle Destiny is +1. Yep. So I'm sure Dan was going for 8 so he could get rid of Thrawn, 2 people, not just Thrawn. But didn't really think that through. Again, some people, when they just get put in a bad spot, they just, get that quicksand mentality, and things just keep getting worse and worse because you're trying to do too much and you're not thinking about the interactions. And Dan certainly had a rough start to this game, so you can see why he's on tilt a little bit. And now they're chatting about it. See if Heisenberg wants to be a nice guy and let him take it back. Because, that's his once per game that he just wasted on nothing. I guess Heisenberg doesn't realize Ancient Watering Hole actually added, and heading didn't do anything. So now they're discussing why exactly Dan's total, I guess, is 7. I think it's now starting to sink in. They finally gotten around to explaining that the total to the Destiny is Ancient Watering Hole and not from heading to the medical frigate. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been quite a little while since I've been able to have time to do my show. Been a lot going on in the Gogolin household these last few months. Dan ditches Solo because Solo has very limited use, and Heisenberg forfeited Thrawn. If Heisenberg's throwing Thrawn away, I don't know. Solo looks a little bit more valuable than Yoda, but yeah. Why would he have to forfeit Solo to keep Ancient Watering Hole active? It doesn't say. Oh, because it's exactly 5? No, you've got 5 different species. I don't know. Do I have a planned schedule for my show? I'd like to stick back to my regularly scheduled Monday evenings, but unfortunately, I don't know that I can. I'll be doing them on a weekly basis like that. Stuff comes up. I got promoted again at work, so they keep throwing more and more stuff at me. What am I missing, Jared? Why did he have to lose Solo to keep Ancient Watering Hole active? Yeah, I mean, Yoda certainly helps a lot. Obviously, limiting the drain and keeping stuff from being modified. It'd be better off if you were on a ship that had some immunity or something to it, but because Mirax is also a Corellian. Yeah, but why wouldn't it count the other people? I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense to me, but I'm sure there's some way wording on it in the way it's programmed. Oh, yeah, no, he can't lose Elors because he has to keep that off. Okay, so you're just saying that. Okay. Yeah, he definitely needed Ray. You can make the argument to lose Yoda. After he loses Thrawn, he's down to just getting one destiny. You lose Yoda, you get your second battle destiny back. Suddenly, you're in a little bit better position, and now you're drawing two to his one. You get your celebration out. Oh, here comes a whole bunch of ships. See, if you had the celebration out, he would have just retrieved 3 cards. And now Dan's just going to stack up here. And now he'll ship dock, move some people around. So, wild card. During battle, your total battle destiny is +1 for each smuggler aboard. If you have that in hand, there's also an argument to keep solo, because now you get an extra smuggler and you're still adding to total. He does move both people over, so Elor's counts. So Elor's is adding +1. Solo would be adding one more, so that'd be +2. Ancient Watering Hole's working, so you're adding one more, +3. Rey adding one, +4. I don't know. You could go either way, I guess. Either way is a viable play. And especially if he had the celebration out the previous turn, then whatever guy he lost, he would have just retrieved this turn, along with the 2 other cards. And then you could have popped Walkling as well or something, maybe after the battle to retrieve, and then activate it right back to that guy, and then Miraxed him back into hand. So there were a lot of angles where it didn't really matter necessarily which guy he lost. He could have just set it right back up and put it right back out. But Dan has stabilized. He's not really taking a whole lot of damage now. He's got potential for retrieval. He's got potential for some ground activity. Ooh, now we're going to see a fun interaction. There's the never again leave this city free executor. And then there's this Belton's Eye thing. If a battle just initiated at Bespin with executor there, you can cancel that battle unless they pay 15. And Dan's just going to barrier the executor, which is going to get grabbed by There'll Be Hell to Pay. Okay. That must have been what he fanfared for, was his extra grabber. And now he's going to limited resource Dan, because he just took 2 cards out of his hand. Because he played the barrier, putting him down to 2. So now he's going to have to lose 4 cards. Dan's got a Walkling something here. Here's a control set for stun again. On Yakshjit. Oh, and it's a binder. That is another huge play. Double control set for stun, too. Alright. Hey, it's a good way to stop those Hitco saber drains, right? Definitely a brutal battle. If you're going to space as as light side, you got to have a pile of stuff against this dark side deck. It's got quite a lot of space muscle, but obviously virtually no ground, as we see that Calfal and Hnemeth have basically been spread out for 5 turns now. Heisenberg drops his last card from hand, which is Forlom V. So now he can set up Destiny for whatever else might be left. But yeah, so he still has the 5 species. So he will get his drains in for 9. Celebration only works on battlegrounds, so he'll get to retrieve 3. Dan's got to pop Walkling here and just get an extra force back, just so he has something else to work with. But otherwise, it's basically just activate everything, pay and retrieve, and drain, and take the best card. Sorry, do that in the right order. Activate everything, take the best card of what you've got left, pay to retrieve, and force drain. Yeah, they got blown out early. They got blown out bad, uh, very early. So Heisenberg is sitting at 21. He's got 21 left in life force, 0 in hand. Dan has 6 in life force and 2 in hand. You'd have to imagine in this type of deck, Heisenberg has got to be running some type of cannons. If he could find a laser cannon battery or something to take some shots. And Danny will pop the Walkling to get that extra card back. It's not so much about getting Path back at this point as much as it is just getting Life Force back. He's in a pretty good spot here because he can drain for 9. He can retrieve 3. And if a battle were to happen on the following turn, he can't, yeah, he can cancel it. Because I was going to say, Darkseid would have to pay 15, which is exactly what they could activate, but then they have to spend 1 of that force to initiate the battle to begin with. So he's going to play Voyeur. And he guessed Path of Least Resistance. And there are 2 copies of Path in there. So he'll cause 2 force loss to Dan. I wonder if that's what Dan just put back was a Path with Mirax after retrieving. Ugh. Given the amount of duplicates that we've seen, and Heisenberg's going to be able to track that around too with Forlom. Given the amount of duplicates that we've seen him play, multiple gravity shadows, multiple control set for stuns, it almost makes you start to wonder, do you think he has 2 limited resources? In which case, you need to pick up that 3rd card to stop him from hitting you for 4 more the next turn. Command comes off the top. There goes the Kit and Strider combo. He's going to free ride to look at a random card, and he reveals an Imp Command. Well, Dan just went down to 1 card, so I guess he's not afraid of that. There's an image of the Dark Lord and a Force Push. I guess he's not afraid of that 2nd limited resources like we were just speculating. goes the imp command from used, and turn it off from the top. If he was tracking the voyeur, and he can forlom it, and then play it again. Extra grabber. There goes the binder. He can cause at least 2 more force loss to Dan right here. Well, at least 1, because we know where that path is. But another big turn of drains, and suddenly it's 10-9. Heisenberg has 10 left down, 2 in hand. Dan's got 8 left down, 2 in hand. And 1 more turn of Ancient Watering Hole Super Ground Drains comboed with Celebration Retrieval, and this game's over. So, a couple of misses on Gravity Shadows and set for stuns certainly set Heisenberg back a little bit and took what was a landslide victory into either a very small victory or possibly losing this game at this point. And we'll give Dan kudos for finding ways to get back into the game. Certainly could have done things a little more efficiently. But again, once you get, it's easy to armchair quarterback something like that. Once you're in the heat of a game and, you want to make a good showing in this GEMP PC. Yep, there's the voyeur. He's going to name path again. And he found 2 copies of path. Yep. There goes Leia from hand and the free ride combo. Yep, he can drain for 2 and he can keep voyeuring for little bits of damage here and there. So it'll certainly be a single-digit loss. No exterior sights, so no option to shuttle anybody down. And battling in space, he's just going to cancel it the first time. Yeah, this game definitely ended up being a lot closer than it started out to be, that's for sure. And yep. Heisenberg, let's pick the voyeur back up. Dan's going to top deck 2. Still putting himself in a bad spot, though. He still has those 2 paths that are still stuck there. It'd be nice if he knows where they are, because when you reveal your use pile with voyeur, the cards don't get shuffled. They go back in the same order that they were revealed in. So he would know exactly what order those 5s are in. And if he can Mirax one of them into hand, or even just, activate it all next turn with keeping and take 1 into hand or something like that, just to slow the voyeur damage from being 2 a turn to only 1 a turn. Heisenberg's going to shift Quegold over on the Executor, and then I guess we're going to move the Executor to Mustafar. The problem is he's not going to have enough to pay for both drains next turn. Because he's about to eat. Unless he's got... Oh, there. Told you, second limited resources. Of course he plays 2, Dan. Have you not been paying attention to his deck? He pays 2 of everything. Dan loses a path from hand. The card from his force pile, which was not wise. So Dan's down to 2 life force. While his opponent has 9 plus 2 in hand, though. Still not going to be enough. Let's see if Dan does this in the right gosh darn order. Celebration is a total, so I don't think he can retrieve. Nope. He doesn't have enough force left to retrieve. He still shouldn't have done it that way anyway, because then he's spending the force and he's given himself the ability to hit with Voyeur. Heisenberg's going to eat 9 here, which if I'm doing my math right, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total force left. Minus 9 equals 2, which means he does not have enough force to pay for that last drain. So all he can do is play Voyeur if Dan has a use pile. Oh, there goes the Voyeur from hand. And he's shield busted too. That would have made the difference. If he wasn't shield busted, he could have played resistance there and capped that drain at 2. That would have left him with 1 extra card. So Tartag is going to squeak out a win by 2 here, which a win is a win. I'd love to know what he's spending force. He's ship docked, didn't move anybody, and unship docked just to spend a force, so he'd have 1 in his reserve deck. I guess in case Heisenberg activates and battles. Really no point. You just draw up here, so I mean your opponent can't retrieve anything anyway, so unless he's got some other once per game action or something that lets him get a card back, but so Tartag's going to pick up a win by 2, which a win is a win, right? But 2 is such a very small margin that this will basically come down to game 2. So congrats to him on picking up that win. That's funny, Belugo. Your car connected to your wife's car. Your phone connected to your wife's car when she turned the car on. A Bluetooth because you were close enough to it, so you lost all your sound. I bet she was listening to it going, what the hell am I listening to? All right, so let's go back out to our GEMP lobby. I'm sure there's plenty of things going on right now. Got a Coruscant League game. I don't know if that's game 1 or round 2 or round 3. Let's check the standings and find out. Did the new events get posted? Nope, looks like that might be game. I guess they didn't play their game the first time as a league. I don't know what they did. So, we talked about the OCS a little bit. Let's go in a little more detail on it. It begins February 1st. Differences this year, key takeaways. It is only 6 months instead of 7. We shortened that down a little bit. We also split it into 2 little mini seasons. So you've got season A, or season 1. February, March, we take April off. We come back in May. April is off because we're probably going to have to run the MPC in April, which is going to chew up at least 2 weekends. We don't want people trying to play OCS games. On the weekends, or having limited time, some people can only play on the weekends. If we're going to have to run the NPC online again, because, well, I don't anticipate COVID restrictions being lifted in the next couple of months to let everybody start gathering again in groups of 100. So we've got the first season there, same rules. Top two qualify each month, and then there'll be two at large bids based on the overall scoring from these 3 months. Then we come right back for season two. June, we take July off, which is presumably when there'll be something, whether it's U.S. Nationals, Texas Mini Worlds, yada yada, something, some other big online event. Whether it's online or in person by July, we don't know. That one we're still kind of playing by ear. And then we come back for August and September. September slightly overlaps with Euros. Who knows what that'll be a little bit, but since there are a small percentage of the players in the OCS are European, I think it's like, if there's 100 people, there's like 10 or 12 Euros. So it's something we'd like to grow. We wish more of them would play, but it hasn't been the case so far. So again, top two from each month qualify. Two at-large bids from this season, so that'll give us our 16-person field. If by some miracle, there's people who've already qualify again, we still try and pass down to the third spot. If it doesn't get passed to the third spot in a given month, then it becomes a overall at-large bid, where the cumulative between the 6 months highest score who isn't qualified will earn that bid. Did I just explain that, Jared? Did that make sense now? Other key takeaways: we adjusted the timer. The timer was reduced, so instead of being 50 minutes per player, we're going to try going at 45. We pulled some data. Echo Base Trooper was kind enough to pull some data together for us on the overall timing of games, and the vast majority of them fit into like that 90-ish minute window. So we're hoping that by reducing the timer a little bit from 50 to 45, we're still not going to see really any games time out. We're very unlikely we'll see a lot of games time out. It's a pretty small reduction. There's really only a couple players whose timers are ever really that close to timing out, and usually that's because they're either taking forever to think about things or they're distracted by what else is going on around them. So hopefully by slightly reducing the time commitment involved, because typically it's like I got to block off 2 to 2.5 hours to play an OCS game. Hang on. Excuse me, I don't haven't been talking this much in a while, so my throat was already getting kind of dry and scratchy. So, as I was saying, yeah, you normally have to block off like 2.5 hours because you put a table up and it sits there for, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 minutes sometimes waiting to get a game. And then the possibility of the game going the full length of somebody using up their timer really helps you have to block off a little bit of time there. If we shorten it 10 minutes on each, on the total side, maybe we get it closer to a 2 hour commitment instead of a 2.5 hour commitment. And we'll keep an eye on the numbers. If we if the numbers look like they're still about the same in terms of timeouts and overall game length and stuff being played, we can look at tweaking that further back to 40. Um, 45 seemed like the sweet spot. It seemed like a good compromise, not adjusting things too much all at once. But we certainly reserve the right to reevaluate things once season one is over. Once May finishes up, we'll pull some data real quick, or as May is wrapping up, we'll pull some data, see how games have been for these 3 months, and see if we want to adjust anything further for season two. Of course, the other thing going on right now, if you want to sign up, by the way, for the OCS, you can get the season pass right here. in the store. You can also still do the $10 each month individually. That'll cost you $60 to play all 6 months instead of paying $50 for the season pass, never having to worry about it, and being added automatically at the start of each month. Save some time for you instead of having to go in to create 6 separate transactions through PayPal on the PC store. And it helps us too because then it's less times I have to go back in and out adding people manually, as opposed to just creating a master list that at the beginning of the month I just there they go, there's everybody. So our current season pass holder list is right here. There are 31 names signed up already, which is awesome, plus 2 guys who are paying on the month-to-month plan. The other big thing going on right now is Batmouse's 5th annual GEMP PC. Still waiting on prizes from the 4th GEMP PC, but I'm sure they're in the mail. A couple of games have already been played for this. See if he's updated his bracket with any results. And there was a prediction contest for that. You could probably still get in on it. I don't know that there's too many. I think today might be the last day to put your predictions in. I'll give you a couple of spoilers if you're watching. Tarkin advanced. You can tell he got 2 wins. He advanced. I don't know who won this game or this game. Schmicky won. He advanced. He'll be taking on me next. We'll be playing Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the winner of our game will take on the winner of this game, which just happened. They played 1 game, I think. And I think they played 1 game as well. Was I streaming that game, Dan? Yes, I was. I was streaming that game. You were yelling at me to get out of the chat, but I was streaming it, so I couldn't. And you couldn't hear me to know that I was streaming it and telling you about all the things you were doing wrong. No, just kidding. 1 or 2 little things you did a little out of order, but by the way, we correctly predicted the second limited resources that you were not playing around. But it's easy to armchair quarterback these things. So, Stubbly advanced. It looked like he'd only played 1 game. Oh, he split games. That's what it was. They split games. Okay. A lot of good matchups in here. Be interesting to see how some of these games go. When we get into the later rounds, how many of the top seeds can survive, make a run, because you get some of these top seeds together, you're going to have some fireworks in some of these games. So, lots of good players in these. I think Kyle might have advanced as well. It looked like Tech Terror had at least 1 loss, if not 2. So, what did I do wrong? Help me. I'm an easier opponent than Heisenberg. You can just go back and watch the video when I'm done streaming. Playing around limited resources. Check out GemPC 4 Final on YouTube, Game 1. Yes, that would be a incredibly interesting matchup between myself and Jared, where Jared did something and verified my hand, and the card he saw was limited resource. I think it was Jin. I think he used when Jin died. I think he got to see my hunt down and got to see my hand, and I had limited resources. And Jared kept top decking cards, staying at 3 cards for like the rest of the game until the very last turn when it was finally like the last card I lost just because I had to. Um, and I know the guys in the announcers like, why is he losing all these cards? Why does he keep losing all these cards from reserve deck? He should be losing from hand to keep his differential high. And it was like, then I lost that, and there's a collective, oh, with all the guys streaming. That's why he's losing everything from hand. Dan has one goal to upset Heisenberg, so he proves 11 people wrong. That's a good goal. I'll admit, when you're looking at some of these bracket predictions, spite is a hell of a motivator. It works for me a lot. I know, you know, GEMPC predictions, MPC predictions. Sometimes you look at some of these these things, and you see a consistent trend of people picking against you, and you're like, no, I want to prove not just to myself that I'm better than this guy, because that's what playing the game does. But to all these other people that all right, you all thought somebody was just going to walk right over me. Well, that's what I got to say. So, good luck, Dan, whenever you get to play game 2. What will Heisenberg play for light side? It's a good question. Good question. We could go look and see what he played for Worlds. We're going to theorycraft and help Dan. All right, well, hold that thought for 1 second. I got to turn that off for a second because I got to go dig around my hard drive because I did just download the deck lists. But I don't know where they ended up getting unboxed to. There they are. All right, so let's see. He played Legend day 1. Captain Lando, Ezra, Finn, Honor, Menace. Yep. Falcon, Profundity, Leia's Transport. Leia's Transport is stupidly good. Leia's gun, Qui-Gon's lightsaber. So he played a real Qui-Gon, huh? He played the new Qui-Gon, the Jedi Qui-Gon. Holdo, Rose, Brave Resistance. It's a solid deck. Leaderships, I'm getting pretty good at this. Multiple Destiny Adders. Yep. Multiple Hear Me Babies. Yeah, Legend's a solid deck. Legend's a tough deck to beat. Because it finds ways to do annoying things with very multiple copies of very good cards. And it's got just enough little manipulation things going on. Obviously the new Maul certainly does hinder things a little bit as far as Legend goes. From what I understand, Hunt Down V not that good of a matchup. So others in the chat can certainly comment, but I haven't been too up on my meta game right now. But from what I hear, Hunt Down V does some early damage. Legend typically stabilizes and then starts winning all the battles and doing all the destiny manipulation stuff, which is usually where they pull things back around in their favor. He plays Ezra. Well, right, so you can go to the site with Maul, so don't put Maul at that site. Or move him. Don't leave Maul at the Maul's hut by himself, just like, oh, I'm just gonna stay here and manipulate stuff because nobody can get me. It's like, you gotta move him. You get that relocate, don't you? Doesn't he do something where he once per game gets to relocate? I don't know. All these new cards, I forget what they all do. Um, but yeah, so we'll have possibly a Jawa Cup again later this year. But we got the two big tournaments going on right now. Make sure you sign up for those and get involved. We'll have some set 14 cards sometime in the near future, and we'll talk about an NPC coming up in about 2 months. But that's all I really want to talk about today. Of course, plug the NPC. The other thing too, the booster packs for those of you who played in tournaments. A lot of them have been shipped out already. There are still some that I haven't got to yet. Most of those are people. The ones that are remaining are people who only played in one event, and that one event was not Worlds. So if you played in just Texas Mini Worlds or just the NPC, there's a pretty good chance that your uh, packs have not or pack has not shipped out yet. And if you live outside the U.S., Kevin is responsible for shipping all those. So hopefully you guys should have gotten them already. Um, but we're going to get around to it. I'm going to get the rest of them out as soon as possible. There's still a few guys from Worlds that Worlds was the only thing they played in that I have to get out as well. But anybody on the 2-pack list should have gotten all their stuff by now. So if you played in 3 majors, not counting the Indoor Grand Prix, it was NPC, Texas Mini Worlds, the European Championship, and World Championship were the 4 events. If you played in 3 of those 4, you got 2 booster packs, and you should have received them by now. So we'll get the rest of them out to everybody else in the upcoming weeks and get this all wrapped up, and then start the new OCS. So why didn't I get 2? That's probably why. So thank you guys very much for tuning in this afternoon. I'm glad I was able to finally do a show and talk about some Star Wars cards again for a little bit. And now I got to start getting prepared for my GEM PC matchup, figure out what I'm going to play. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. And we'll be back. I'll be back on hopefully next week. So, you guys take care. Have a great day.